Hey everybody, this is a new addition to my collection. My first vehicle when I was a kid was an old 81 CJ5. This is actually an 82 CJ7, but it's actually the limited edition. So it's the one that the Jeep put all the bells and whistles into. Actually has, very little rust for that year Jeep. It does have a little bit of rust here on the body. This thing was sort of garage kept, I believe, but I don't believe the person that kept it in the garage really took much care of it. Everything's original. Hasn't been lifted or anything like that. Still has the original suspension on it. So there's not much body damage. The frame is actually in really good condition for its year. There's new best top on it. Now, a couple things he changed. The steering wheel, you see that grab bar is just chrome, but he actually has the original steering wheel, original grab bar, because the thing about the Limited is all color coded. Like the wheels, inside the wheels is blue body. The windshield's always black, but inside the steering wheel's blue, dash is blue, grab bar is blue, interior is blue. Like I said, this thing's all original. And whatever he changed, he still has original parts for it. So I'm just going to put them back on. But I should have took a video. I flushed the brake system out, brake lines out, and the brake fluid looked almost like regular old motor oil. So that's when I realized that even though it's in great condition, he never took much care of it. So I'm going to do a little video right now. I'm going to flush out the coolant system. Basically, I'm going to flush everything out eventually. Differentials, motor oil. I'm going to start with the coolant system. And I'm just going to make little videos of me taking care of this. All I want to do is restore it. I don't want to put a lift on it or anything like that. I'm too old for that stuff. Just want to get it back to its former glory. I just drive around town on the weekends. So I got the new stuff, old stuff. Semi-old. Now, like I say, this is my CJ7. It has a 258 engine, straight 6 engine in it. I am not an auto mechanic, even though I am a mechanic by trade. It's not an automobiles. I kind of know how to do a lot of things. I've taught myself how to do a lot of things, so this is a do-yourself type of video. And right now I'm going to flush the radiator system out. Make sure the thing's cold, make sure it's not hot. If it's hot, it's going to be under pressure. You're going to pull up this off. Radiator fluid's going to fly up and burn you. So it's always good to have a little rag just in case. Push it down. Pop it off. And what I'm just going to do, I'm going to leave the old radiator fluid in there right now. I'm going to add a bottle of Super Flush, radiator fluid flush in it, and then I'm just going to run it for a while. You can drive it around and try to come back in like a week's time, and I'm going to drain it all out. And when you do drain it out, you're going to have to make sure to dispose of it, because it's bad radiator fluid. You got to dispose of it properly. So all I'm going to do is fill it up. Still has the old radiator fluid in it. Drive it around for about a week. Topping off. Still got a little extra. I'm just going to dump it into the radiator fluid reservoir. So I'm going to flush it out too. I'll drive it around, and after about a week's time I'll come back and I'll drain it all. And I'll flush it out. So this is your radiator fluid reservoir. Just got a little bit left here. I'm just going to top it off in here. It's hard to get charged. So I'm going to be flushing that out too. So you want to dispose of radiator fluid properly. Animals think it's sweet. They'll drink it. They'll die. Not good for them. Not good for the environment. So after I run this for a while, drive around for a while, give it about a couple days to a week, I'm going to drain everything out. And then I'm going to basically do the same procedure one more time. I'm going to add some more flush fluid in it, but it's just going to, now it's going to be water. Flush it out. And then after that, you just keep flushing with water and water until you get, until it's as clear as can be. But we'll see different stages. I'm going to do stage 1, 2, and 3, and 4, how many times I flush it, how dirty the water is. Alright, so I'm just going to drive around for a while and then I'll be back. So another very important thing is when you're running the Jeep, turn on your heat, all your vents, turn them on full blast, because you want to go through your heater core and all that. So when you're driving around or when you're just sitting around letting it idle and run, make sure you have that all your heater cores, all your heat going full blast. So right now it's up to temperature. I've just been sitting here doing stuff in the garage, it's up to temperature. I'll get out and then do some driving, and I'll just probably run in and drive it a little bit every day. Don't want to drive too much. Like I say, it's brand new to me. Well, it's an old brand new vehicle. I'm trying to get used to it. I still want to change all the other fluids before I really do too much driving with it. But it's very important to get that heater and all that going while you're flushing the engine out. Okay, let it run for a while, a couple days. So when you remove this cap, make sure it's nice and cold, because it will be under pressure. It's hot, and if you pop it open, spray it at you. Yeah, it looks kind of like brownish water in there, so do a good job of flushing it. You're going to need to get a container, and underneath here there's going to be a drain valve. We'll crank that loose and let it drain out. You're still going to have cruddy stuff in the engine compartment and all that. That's why we're going to flush it out again with more water, and you keep doing that like 2 or 3 times until it comes out nice and clear. So let's take a look underneath and see what we need to do to open it up. Now right here on underneath the radiator, it's on the passenger side. You see there's a little drain plug right here. You just actually can just, it's like a wing nut, you can unscrew it, and that'll drain your radiator. Make sure you have a nice container to catch it all. Just slide a container underneath there, and we'll open it up and see what happens. Alrighty, so the radiator is drained now. I want to add this bottle of flush to it and fill it with water. A lot of people use distilled water. I'm just going to use regular water. I know distilled water doesn't have all the minerals and all that in regular water, but the stuff you're pulling out of this radiator has a lot of minerals and rust and crud and all that. So I'm not much worried about it. I want to fill up the radiator, not all the way up, because I wanted to start. I can either drain the reservoir or let it suck it out, but I want to flush that out also. So I want to see if it'll suck it out. If it doesn't suck it out, then I'll just have to manually drain it and scrub it out myself. It's a bit of a pain to take it out, so I'm not going to bother taking out the reservoir itself. Just want to clean it up. But my main goal is to flush out the engine compartment and all that, because right now you still got some of the old crap antifreeze in there. So I'm going to fill this up and fill up the radiator fill it up with water and let it run for a while. Some people take the thermostat out. It is a good idea to take the thermostat out, you get more flow. But I haven't decided if I want to actually change the thermostat or not. Some people say you should change it, and you probably should. But if it ain't broke, I don't like to fix it. But let's see what happens. And if it does break, even if later on, it's an easy fix. I already have one in the shop. So I'm going to fill it with water and flush it out. And we'll probably repeat the process a couple more times. Alright, we're back. This is after putting in the second dose of the flush fluid and the water. So now it's just water and flush fluid in here. I let it run for about a half hour. Same thing with the heat's on, your vents on, full blast, because you want to get through that your heating coils and all that. Now I've let it sit for a while. Still warm to the touch, but it's not hot. So if you should actually let it cool down all the way, because if it's hot, it's under pressure. So I'm going to see what's going on. I'm going to let it loose slowly. I think it's cool enough that I can mess with it. Just expect. You see, it's not under pressure. It's all good. Looks like a lot of brown water in there again. So I'm actually going to put the cap on and clamp it down, because last time when I took the drain plug out, the water came out shooting out. With this, it'll be a little bit of pressure, so it won't come out as quick as possible, and I'll have time to put something in, because what happened is water came down, hit the rod underneath, splattered everywhere. So I'll get a funnel or something underneath there so I can divert the water into my jug. But this is the second flush. I'm not going to bore you with all the details. I'm going to drain it, plug it back up, and then I'm just going to fill it with regular water next, and just run it and see what happens. One thing I forgot to mention is when you fill it up, your radiator up after you flush it, keep an eye on your temperature. If your temperature starts spiking, most likely you will have air in your line. So what I do is I just run the car for a little bit. Don't let it get too hot. Then I turn it off, let it sit for a couple minutes, and I'll take the radiator cap when it's cool enough, and then you fill it up, top it off, because what you're going to do is it's going to draw all the water in to your engine block and all that, and you're going to have access, space, which is going to be the air in your radiator. So you fill it up with water, run it for a little bit, turn it off, let it sit, let it cool down, pop the cap off, top it off, and you can finish running it for your flush system. So you never want to fill your radiator up with cold water. If it's hot, you can crack it. So you always let it cool down first before you open it up, before you pour water in it. This is something you got to keep an eye on. Keep an eye on your temperature. Make sure it doesn't spike too high. It's something you got to look at. All right, everybody. It's getting late in the day. Been doing this all day long, flushing the system. You can tell first one, second flush, third flush, fourth, fifth, and sixth. This was the first one. Is old antifreeze in the flush solution. The second one was just after it was water in the flush solution, and this is water. Third, fourth, fifth, and the sixth is a little cloudy, but it's a lot clearer. So 6 flushes to the point where I'm going to put antifreeze in it. I'm going to run it probably for like a month, and then I'm going to flush it out one more time, and that's going to be, I'm going to call it good for the year. But like I say, that's old antifreeze with a solution, water solution, just water, 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 and water. Yeah, there's a lot of junk in it. Like I said, this thing I believe was garage kept, but didn't have that little TLC done to it. So I'm going to try to give it a little TLC and try to get it running as good as I can. That's how I flushed it out. Took me 6 goes. I'll probably do another one, say, in a month's time. Trying to keep this baby running. All right, thanks for watching.